All right, Eric here with the Lewis County Scoop. We are live from the 50th annual Lewis County Fair, and we've got Mr. Dusty Blue sitting here next to us. Dusty,
Yeah,
how
man.
you doing?
Thanks for the invite. Yes.
You bet. What do you think of this Lewis County Fair?
Oh, Lewis County Fair. We have been hitting all of the fairs, and I'll tell you what, Lewis County is one of my favorites, I have to admit.
The sponsor of this Lewis County Scoop podcast is FHC Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. From heating and air conditioning to plumbing repairs and service calls, FHC helps keep your home or business running right across Northeast Missouri and West Central Illinois. Call Blake today at 573-822-4284. FHC Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Sponsor does not control or endorse the views expressed in this program.
It's a great time up here, just great energy. Just love being here, especially out on the campaign trail, visiting with the people, trying to talk with them, understand what the issues are, what is affecting them on their daily lives. You know, 250th anniversary, Eric, of this great country.
Yes.
And what a celebration. And it got me thinking back to what our founding fathers, how we got here, you know, and there used to be a time in this country where we would elect representatives to represent the people. And unfortunately, I'm afraid Jeff City, D.C. has just strayed too far away from that. Now it's all about big money. It's all about representing corporations. And we need to bring it back to representing the very people that elect us. When we're out here on these campaign trails and to ask for a vote, let's get back to representing the people. And so some of those ways that I've offered to people and all of our county commissioners is, you know, day I take office, we're going to hold quarterly meetings with our elected officials to hold me accountable, to also see what I need to be working on. You know, one thing I'm never going to understand is Scotland County, like you guys do that live here. I'm never going to understand Putnam County. I'm never going to understand these counties unless I open the door, close that gap of bringing in that conversation with the people that are on the ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds good. So, hey, before we jump into the weeds on anything, what's your favorite food here? Have you had Donya's lemon shake-ups?
Yes. Phenomenal.
Yeah, they are.
All-time favorite. Yes. You know, to full transparency, I bit by a tick, Eric.
Uh-oh. You told me that on the
Yep.
podcast.
I got the alpha gal, man. So I'm allergic to beef, pork. You know, it's horrible. But I tell you, you get to these fairs, they got a lot of smoked wings, smoked chicken, and I tell you, it's just unparalleled, man.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yep.
So you've been busy.
Yes.
Campaign trail.
Yes.
You've been to Scotland County. Any other county fairs around here you've been to?
So fair season just popped off. I know Moberly had a railroad days here recently that we were at. Trying to think of all the ones that we've been to. See, here's the thing. We started 14 months ago. May 6th of last year, we launched this campaign, and we have been on the campaign trail every day since. We haven't missed a parade, a county fair last year, and now we're doing them all again. Right. And we've handed out close to 40,000 palm cards to people, and just on the ground every chance that we can get. We never want to miss an opportunity to visit with the folks. Again, because it's all about listening to the issues and understanding exactly what the issues are.
Right.
So I know how to truly represent the people, we the people, when I get to Jefferson City.
Right. So with that being said, you've been out and about. You are everywhere.
Everywhere.
The people you talk to, what are their concerns?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest concern that I get, you know, I mean, obviously you get the roads and bridges, but at the end of the day, there's a disconnect of what's happening in Jefferson City and what's happening on the ground in Senate District 18. And, you know, all too many times, you know, again, visiting with our county commissioners, and I've asked them, you know, when's the last time you've seen your state senator? When's the last time you've seen your state rep? You know, the vast majority of them across the board say, yeah, we've never seen them. Unless it's an election cycle or unless they're coming in to vote on their local elections. You know, and we have to close that gap. You know, it's that disconnect of what's happening here in the district and what's happening in Jefferson City. You know, we got to drain the swamp in Jefferson City.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know who would not agree to that. So,
well, we have a uniparty. You know, I'm the only one in this race that's testified in Senate committee to bring transparency to the Missouri State Senate. Missouri is one of two states that doesn't have transparency or cameras in our Senate chamber. North Carolina and Missouri are the only two states in the entire United States that doesn't have transparency. I testified in Senate committee to bring that transparency to the Senate chambers. It was efforts on Senator Mike Moon, and it was voted down. Standing division vote, in large by the Republicans. And that has to change. So, I can't promise a lot as one of 34 senators, but what I can say is that one of my very first things that I would like, my very first priority is bringing transparency to the people. You can't hold me accountable if you don't know what I'm doing.
No.
And we have to open that up and close that gap.
Yeah. So in your travels, what are some concerns that people are concerned with that you talk with? Like, are data centers a big concern?
Yes, huge. Yeah, I get that more and more every single day. I go back, why is Missouri getting so many data centers, right? Well, there was a couple pieces of legislation that was passed last year, Senate Bill 82 and Senate Bill 4, which effectively opened the floodgates for these data centers to come into the state of Missouri. They're popping up all over these farms. We need to protect Missouri farmlands. We need to protect these people's rights and their liberties. And instead of these data centers coming in very predatory, not having conversations with the people, and they're signing NDAs, and there's a lot of shell companies, so you can't FOIA request them, and there's just a lot of things that are happening that we really need to take a hard look at.
Right. I just it seems like we just don't know a lot of details about what they're.
I don't think any of us.
And then the objection to that is, well, they're going to build them across the state line in Iowa. We're going to build them over here, so we're going to lose jobs. But we do have to protect our land and our.
My position has been clear. It's no one. I don't think anyone, any of us are saying no. We're just saying that, hey, if you're going to come in, like, there's a group down south and we've hosted a couple town halls pertaining to data centers, and effectively saying that if you implement this ordinance that they have put together, and I've given it to several of our county commissioners across the district, and within that, it basically says that if you're going to come here, you're going to pay for everything. You're not going to dig into our aquifer. You're not going to dig wells. You're going to use rainwater. You're going to use those things if that's what you want to do, and you're not going to use eminent domain to take people's property. Yeah, and we can go more in depth into that later, but
I mean, I know you're hungry, but I got one more good question.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good, but Amendment 5. That's the big one, man.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a hot topic. It's going to be on the ballot in August, and I'm a hard no on Amendment 5. It's a bait and switch. They want to minimize the income tax, right, by adding taxes on goods and services. They want to do that by suspending the Hancock Amendment for 5 years. And I don't know about you folks, but I'm not suspending any of my rights back to the government. I'm not running to grow government. I'm running to minimize government. With the Hancock Amendment, it was enshrined into our Constitution back in 1980. It has many different functions, but at the end of the day, it's there to protect us against future tax increases. Mm-hmm. And they're wanting us to suspend that right to the government and say, hey, trust us. Well, I don't know about you folks, but I don't ever trust the government, and I'm never going to ask you to trust the government.
Well, the government has made it very difficult for people to trust them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever since COVID. It really has.
Bingo.
I mean, that's when I think people have woke up and realized that not everything the government says is correct. Actually, I would go probably a lot less than that.
Yep.
So,
government has just grown entirely too big.
Yeah.
And we need to start minimizing government out of our lives, getting it out of our lives. And deregulation is another big thing that the people talk about. Farmers and small businesses, they're constant inflation, which goes directly back to our budget, and Amendment 5. If not opposed to getting rid of income tax, I'm not opposed to getting rid of personal property tax, real property tax. But listen, folks, we've got to have a real conversation about cutting our budget. Over the last several years, our budget has increased from just shy of $27 billion to now over $53 billion, Eric.
Wow.
Our state auditor just put out a post just here a couple of weeks ago saying that Missouri is headed towards a fiscal cliff of $1.7 billion. We need to have a real conversation about cutting our budget first. And I think then we can begin to have those conversations about getting rid of the taxes. I'm the only one in this race that has called on Governor Kehoe to suspend the gas tax. That's 30 cents a gallon, Eric, right now back into the people's pockets.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We never get anything as the people. Yeah. We constantly, now just last year, the legislature held a special session to give $1.5 billion of our tax money to the Chiefs Stadium. But here we are paying $4 and $5 a gallon for fuel, and we're just looking for some relief into the people's pockets. You know, I live in a community that's at or below the poverty level, 71% at or below the poverty level. And, you know, that's 30 cents a gallon. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but that's a lot of money for a lot of people.
Yes, it is.
And it's just real relief to the people. But again, we don't get that. We keep bailing out the corporations and keep doing utility giveaways for things like data centers. Enough's enough, folks. So I humbly ask for your guys' votes on August 4th. If you guys haven't followed my social media page, please do that to keep up with our past events and future events that we're going to be headed to. Go to our websites at dustybluefrommo.com. But again, if you guys have any questions, I'm always an open book, transparent. Please reach out to me at any time. Shoot me a DM, or if you got my phone number, you're welcome to text or give me a call anytime. Eric, yes, I appreciate your time tonight, inviting me on the show. As always, I truly enjoy coming on here. And give this man some credit. You know, we need more of these podcasts across the district.
Well, I'm learning, so you're pretty good at this, but
No, I don't think so, man. Yeah, I love this guy. Make sure you guys support Lewis County Scoop on social media. Make sure you guys give it a thumbs up to support these local guys, trying to get some transparency.
And you can go back and watch the original podcast between me and Dusty, probably about 8 weeks ago. So it's on our website, on our YouTube page. So,
yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Go get you something to eat.
Yeah, man.
Right.
We're hungry. We're going to go try some of this smoked chicken. Thank you, guys. God bless.